Right now, it is 6:01 p.m. It's May 19th, 2022. And you have a quorum of the Executive Board of Community Board 11. You have you, yourself, the chairperson, the vice chairperson, Yahya Abid, and then the Sergeant at Arms, Oral Selkridge. And you have two guests. You want me to share the meeting?
All right, why don't we start with the minutes from the January meeting? Could you bring those up, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Would everybody take a quick look at those, please?
Slade. Yeah.
Are there any questions or concerns about the minutes?
This is wrong, obviously. This says Parks. So I linked the wrong meeting minutes, apparently. All right, so just bear with me, Al. Let me go back. Yeah, it was only me working today. Kristen here unexpectedly had to call out. So apologies for that. So January, right? That's 2021. And we're on agendas, I'm sorry. If anybody sees me taking a wrong turn, please stop me as soon as possible. Can you see that now? No? Everybody hear me? Still there?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, Jeremy. That's fine.
Okay.
All right, any questions about those minutes? Can I have a motion to accept?
Those are 2021 meeting minutes, January 21st,
Yes.
2021. Okay.
I second.
Well, we put motions on for after the public speaks, so I guess we just move on. Unless you want to vote now, it's up to you guys.
Oh, I would like to wait. I'd like to follow the agenda. We have a guest speaking about the taping of the meeting. Are they here?
Frank? Yeah, Frank is in, right?
Yeah, John just joined, actually. I'm here.
Okay.
How we doing, guys?
All right, maybe they can give us a short presentation of what it would cost and what the live streaming would cost also.
Yes, we could do that.
All right, guys, it's on you.
All right, perfect. Good evening, everyone. Pleased to meet you all. Some of you may have been in contact with Frank or Barati up to this point, so I'll introduce myself real quickly. My name is John Romero. I'm a co-owner of New Face Media, so I typically handle all the technical needs and media setup production. So if we feel free any questions during this whole time, feel free to ask me some. But yes, let's go over some pricings. I actually have a document. I don't know if we want to share screen this or I could email it, whatever works for everybody.
It's up to you. You can share a screen.
All right, let me see if I could share the screen here. All right, great. Just to kind of make it a little easier Should I make this document any bigger?
Yes, if you want me to see it. There you go.
Yeah. All right, hang on. Let me zoom in some more. Sorry, that went the wrong way. All right, here we go. Better? I'll start from the top and work my way down. Feel free to stop me at any point. We're looking at 875 for one camera for 3 hours, 120 for every hour after that. 1100 for two cameras for 5 hours, 150 for every hour after that. This one includes streaming to any one platform. So just putting it out there. I heard that maybe we don't want to do some streaming, so but this one would already include the streaming right off the bat. If we wanted to do a setup where we were just recording on camera and then take it to editing, that pricing would be $525, and this one includes uploading. So we'll do your thumbnails, we'll do the description, you know, the whole thing. The 250 to the 500, that's more of a re-editing fee in the moment. Like, let's say something had happened in a meeting, it's already been uploaded. And let's say we wanted to cut out some sort of segment or something, like something didn't sit too well. This is just more for that. So if that's something that doesn't happen typically, we could disregard this completely. Um, and I think that kind of do we want a pricing for streaming? I wasn't sure if we are streaming or not.
Yes, we
So
wanted to get we wanted to get a price on that also.
Okay. For streaming, we do that for 150.
The live streaming was an additional 150.
Yes, yes. That's
you-
if it's just one camera, if we wanted to stream it live to any one platform.
All right, so now just a question, you have 875 for one camera for 3 hours. Suppose it run for 2 hours.
Hmm. The 3 hours is the minimum. So once we have the minimum set, if it's an hour, if it's 2 hours, it kind of just encompasses within that 3 hour mark.
All right, so if we have, let's say, one meeting runs 2 hours and the next meeting runs 3.5 hours, what do we do then?
It would count as a overtime fee, the 120. So even if it is just the 3.5 hours, let's say, we're also counting in, you know, breakdown time, putting out equipment away and stuff like that.
And so in other words, there's no, it could be an hour, the meeting could be an hour long, it's still 875, and if we went to 3 hours and 15 minutes, we'd have to pay that extra 15 minutes for fee.
I won't thank you guys on the 15 minutes.
No,
If
no, I'm
it's
not,
something,
but basically, I'm stretching it a little bit, but in other words,
yeah.
we go over by a half an hour, and we were at an hour under the time before. In other words,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, if we go over let's say if it's at 3.5 hours, if it's like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, we're not gonna knock you on that. We're very generous when it comes to that. But if it's closer to the upper half, like let's say we're looking at 3 hours and we meet maybe like 3.5 to almost 4 hours, then that's when we would start counting it in. Yeah,
So it's basically for one camera with the live stream, it would be 10 and a quarter. Am I close?
10 and a quarter. Yeah, yeah.
I think Al, just so everybody's aware of what we used to have previous to COVID, we used to pay 800 for 1 to 2 cameras, but that wasn't always stable, so to speak. So I know I think they shut up shop on us within 2 hours once, and basically unless we paid overtime, they weren't staying. So I'm hoping, I'm guessing there's a reliability factor here is what
Oh,
we're paying for.
absolutely. Yes. Yeah, you could. We we have George Torres from CB12 as our biggest testament. We've worked with him for so many years now, and we're all about the teamwork and all about making. You know, we're at the end of the day, our our names are on this project. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what meeting it is or if it's a small little event. To us, we take great pride in what we do. So. Um, pricing always comes at the end. We'll talk about that when we're focused on the event. We're there to do the event. We're gonna make it look good. We'll hash out all the pricing needs afterwards, you know. So that's our whole attitude on the thing.
Hey, Al, where did you get 10 and a quarter from? So I'm looking at 875 for one camera. And then what's the 525 to edit? Is that on top of the 875? Like, it's a little confusing with the price, and I'm just looking to see. So give me what a 3-hour meeting would cost if we did
Ornella Bushiri.
one camera
has left the meeting.
without
Um,
live streaming.
Without live streaming. So I think the editing actually makes it quite a bit pricier. So if we're looking at one camera plus the 525 to edit, that's 1400 for the 3 hours.
So you have to put the editing part inside, right? You have to, it's part of the package. You can't just film it without editing. Is that what you're saying?
We can edit. I mean, sorry, we can film it. I try to itemize it in a way so that if, let's say, we just wanted to take the camera and then put it live online, we could do that without editing. Editing is more to speak, so we just clean up. You know, if there's any moments that are dry, we just cut those out. We're adding graphics. You know, we're sweetening the image for when we put it online. It's not not a recommendation, but it's not a necessity to edit if it's something that you guys feel that it's not necessary, you know?
So the previous company, I think, used to, when it's each committee speaking, they used to have the display at the bottom of the screen, like public safety is speaking and stuff like that. Is
Oh,
that
okay.
what you're referring to editing or no?
Yes, correct. Yeah, that's part of editing.
Okay, so you said 1400, I guess?
Yeah, with the one camera to edit, yes.
So 1400 per meeting.
And then let me put this for streaming, just to stream.
That's on top
150
of
to
it if we
stream.
wanted to stream.
No, so if we're streaming, there's no need to edit because it's already going live as it's happening. So if we're doing 875 plus 150,
It's 10 and a quarter. I guess that's what Al was
Yeah.
referring to.
right?
Yes, yeah,
So in your experience editing, how much time does it shave off of a meeting? Like if the meeting is 3 hours long and you cleaned it up and, you know, made it look nice, does it shave a half hour or?
Sometimes it does. It all depends how the meeting went down. There are times where I don't know if you guys do any public speaking, but there are times where some guy runs over his timing, where let's say we give them 3 minutes time limit to speak on whatever their topic is about. I've seen a lot of guys go over that 3 minute mark. They'll go 7 minutes if they have to. So typically that would be an example of what we could do when it comes to editing. We'll cut, maybe even sometimes we're told to even cut that whole segment out completely. So when you do that, yeah, it could cut it down quite a bit.
unless you can make it look 30 years younger, I don't see any use for it.
Okay, cool. I'm sure there's a filter out there somewhere.
Yeah, and Al, I don't know if you want me to mention what I told you the other day, which is what I told John about the live streaming. Why I think that's probably not necessary as well.
I don't think it's necessary only because of the fact that, the public is there. They're seeing it firsthand. You might as well put it out just the way it is. Why, there's nothing, I mean, you can clean it up, but if people want to see it, they can just see exactly what went on.
You talking about live streaming or just the recording after the fact?
I'm talking about, well, just the recording, and we can, if you wanted to live stream, again, I don't see the need to live stream. People can always look in, people that are there in person are seeing it in person. People can see it a day later. I don't see the big deal.
Yeah, I don't think
That would be
it's,
up to you people.
yeah, it'd be up to the board. But one thing I told Al is, I think another mark against live streaming, at least in person, is that with what happened in Buffalo, there's now talk about making live streaming illegal, because what happened in Buffalo is because that was live streamed, other people copied it, and now they can't get rid of the recording for the most part. It's practically impossible to get rid of. And God forbid something like that ever happens with one of our mates. I don't think it ever would, but you never know.
Well, that's
So-
Oral's problem. He's a sergeant at arms.
Yeah, he can shoot at the guy with the body armor. Oh gosh. Or do you have any questions?
Yeah, the live streaming is good, but I understand the purpose of the editing. It makes sense a lot of times, because what he'll do is put in the information that's pertinent to our meeting. So, like a good example, if someone goes over, which I try not to make them go over, he can edit that out. So what people are getting is what's important during the meeting. It's not, you're not getting any side talk, any junk that may happen, which happens sometimes in our meetings when we're just going back and forth, not making any sense. And he cuts it down, so when people do watch it, it's exactly what the most important key discussions are there. So editing is something that's can be very beneficial to our meetings. So I like the idea of editing. I know you're worried about the price, but like Jeremy mentions, you know, if you live stream it without editing, people can do things with it. But once you edit it, it's exactly what we discussed and not live stream. So it's up to you, but I think there is a benefit to editing it, so if people do go back to look at it, you don't have this side silliness that goes on sometimes in our meetings. It's just exactly what's pertinent to the discussion of whatever we're discussing, whether it's, you know, our discussion on housing, our discussion on homeless shelters, our discussion with political with a political person on the meeting or in the meeting. So it's just what we wanted to do. And I think that John sounds like he has experience doing it, working with Community Board at 12, so he knows what needs to be done. So, you know, I'm a proponent to editing. I like the idea of editing. It makes sense.
The only
And,
problem I have with the editing, and I agree with Oral, I would love to have it, but it's another 5,000 and change,
Yeah.
you know, $5,200 a year.
Yeah.
We're not getting that money from any place but Friends of. I
Yeah,
don't think we're not getting that money from the city's not paying for that. So it's something that has to come out of that fund, and we haven't had any money going into that fund for 2 years. So I'm concerned that we're going to run out of that funding, and then we'll be able to do nothing in the future.
right. I mean, just like when you
We'll have to look at, we'll have to crunch the numbers and see.
Yeah. Exactly. You know, just like when you're renovating a house, you know, you can't get the marble table, so you get the, you know, the quartz or whatever, because, you know, you can't, you know, it's, you have to cut back. So that's fine. I mean, I just put it out there, and I agree with you, Al. If it gets too expensive, then we're gonna have to see what we can cut out. And it just live streaming with all of the carrying ons. I'll try my best to manage it when I am managing the meetings. But, you know, as you can see, sometimes things happen where we have to mute people out, and it sometimes gets funny.
So, Al, we should probably talk about why we're talking about this. Like, because we're going to go back to in person in June, right? Like, come June 15th, I think, we're not allowed to be fully remote. We have to have a quorum at least established for our meetings. And we're just talking about recording full board meetings again, right? We're not talking about committees.
No, absolutely, just full board meetings.
So, John, is there maybe, I know, I mean, I reached out to Board 12 for their YouTube channel, and I think they forgot to send it to me. They said they would. I don't know if there's anything any particular meetings you'd want to point us to that would probably be helpful. I could share that with the board.
Yeah, sure. Can I get email and I'll email that. I'm ready
Yeah,
to
so
type it out.
I'll just put it in the chat.
Oh, perfect. Yes.
We'll
That's
need
what I
that
did.
before before the general meeting so people can vote and they just get an idea of what, what the quality of the work is, which I'm sure is fine.
No worries. I could definitely send that over.
So I don't know if you asked this question already. 3 hours for 2 cameras for 3 hours. Do you have that option or no option for that?
2 cameras for 3 hours. No, we don't have that in mind. Typically each camera we charge 150 per each camera going onwards if we want to stay within a certain window of time. So we could just apply a 150 rate to that. So just to make life easier for us. Next camera.
That's 150 per hour? Or would you say?
150 just a flat rate for the next camera.
For
Oh,
the
so
3
that
hours.
would be okay. So it'd be 875 plus 150 for 3 hours for 2 cameras.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Because I think we're
I
used
think-
to 2 cameras, right?
Yeah, I think that would be probably the best option. What do you think, Al? 875 plus 150, that's like you said, 10 and a quarter. That gets us 2 cameras for 3 hours.
Yeah, I would just ask John what the difference is between the two cameras. Obviously, the coverage is better, but does it make a big difference? I mean, that's your expertise.
Coverage is better. Ease of editing also helps because if you're editing an event for under one camera, it's hard to make those cuts. Let's say if we cut a whole 5 minutes out of it, it's hard to hide that cut if you're just using one camera. If we have 2 cameras, we could solidify 2 separate angles within the room, and it's very easy. If one camera has a close-up shot of somebody on a podium, we could cut 5 minutes out and then we could go to the next camera that's just getting like a wide of the room. And then all of a sudden it's not noticeable that we just lost 5 minutes within that event. So 2 cameras does help out a lot.
But without the editing, would it make much difference?
Without the editing. Well, it would have to be edited at that point because it's 2 cameras now. Where, once we have the 2 cameras, we have to chop up the visual so that we're flipping between the 2 cameras, and then we export that into one solid video. So it has to be edited.
Okay, so in other words, and again, what we're doing is we're paying $1,025 for 2 cameras for 3 hours. And then you will do your own in-house cutting up whatever you have to do.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, but he would charge us the 525 in addition,
No,
right?
no,
No, yes, that would be the rate for editing.
Then you'd have-
So yeah,
oh,
we're looking at 1,600, Al, or 1550 for a 3-hour meeting with
Well-
2 cameras to be edited.
So
So
hold
in
on.
other words-
So hold on. So the editing required for the 2 cameras is nothing special though, right? It's it's just splicing the 2 together versus putting the graphics in and stuff like that in the dead space.
Yeah, we would include graphics. We'll include, just a full-on production package for edit.
For example, we just talked about adding a second camera. With that second camera, you mentioned you do your in-house editing because you have to. But we're not asking for editing. We don't want the editing. We don't want to pay for the editing. So if we get the second camera, you're telling us we have to get the editing also?
Yeah, because otherwise we'll upload 2 separate video files to, let's say, the YouTube page or the Facebook page. You're getting the same meeting twice from 2 different angles. I think
I
that
think what Al's getting at is he just wants basic editing, not 525 editing. Do you offer, we don't need the graphics or whatever. We just want just the 2 put together in a meaningful way. You don't have to kill the dead space. I mean, but then again, I don't know. Is there a cheaper price for doing something like that?
No, not really. Editing does take quite a bit of time. So for editing for a 3-hour event, usually we're there at least 6 hours or more. You could think of it double
We're
time.
not looking for the editing. We just want the 2 cameras
Yeah, Al, but you see, when you have two cameras, right? I know you get it. This one camera is filming stuff,
I
right? And the other
understand that, but what I'm saying is that,
you can't, you got to edit two cameras unless you get
But I-
the one camera.
but I understand that, but that's, if we're paying for the $150 for the extra camera, why? In other words,
Well,
if
yeah.
we have to pay, if the extra camera is gonna cost us an extra $525, that's crazy. Then we're paying.
Yeah, we're not going to do it, Al. We're not. Long story short, we're not going to do it. We're just going to do one camera.
One camera.
Yeah, well, that's
Because
what I'm trying to get at.
two cameras will require editing.
Yeah, well, if we go with the two camera, if they did in-house, their own in-house editing, in other words, we don't want the graphics or anything else, no nonsense, just, whatever the two cameras show, they could cut out, whatever,
No, it's editing.
duplicate.
Yeah.
Editing. That's editing
Yeah,
now.
but it's minor editing. I thought
It's
that was.
editing. It's editing. However you look at it, it's editing. I'm an architect, so I know it's work.
Yeah, I know, I understand that, but why would you say,
One camera.
why would you say two cameras is an extra 150? It's not an extra 150. Two cameras is an extra 150 plus 525.
Yes, because you have to edit two
Right.
cameras.
That was my point. My point was, don't tell me it's just $150. It's not $150. That second camera comes with another $525 cost.
That's correct.
That was my point.
Got it. Got you, Al.
Okay. All right.
Understood now. One camera, no editing.
Any questions?
That's the only way. That's the only way out. One camera, no editing.
That's right.
But two cameras, you have to edit two cameras. You have to, because it's two different shots going on. So you have to put them together. So that
Thanks,
takes
Earl.
editing.
Thanks, Earl. Don't help him.
What do you want me to do? I know this stuff because my son's involved with this stuff too. So I know what he's talking about. So I can relate.
So,
I'm joking.
Alright, so-
I understand also. I was just trying to figure out they would do some small editing for the two cameras. I didn't know how much went into.
That's up to him if he
Yeah.
wants to do that.
all right. So I
Anything
have a
else,
question. One more question for John, if that's okay.
Sure.
I want to know the difference between the 525 editing and then the re-editing. What's re-editing?
Oh, that's
for?
just, let's say something happened, we went online, like we put up the video, we've done the editing, we've done the producing for it. It went online. A few days later, let's say there's somebody that is no longer, I'm just making this up completely. Somebody that is on the board is no longer on the board and we want to get them out of that video. Again, just an example. I know it sounds a little far-fetched, but that incurs us going back into the same session, on undoing that part of that event, taking that edit out, and then re-uploading it again. Again, that's just putting it out there in case something like that would happen. That's just kind of like giving you an in-depth look or forewarning as to what would happen for that.
Okay,
John, thank you very much. We'll bring it before our entire board. You'll send us a copy of one of the something you shot with the camera. Is that
Yes, and I'll also send you this document here just for future reference. I could do that as well. But
Great, John.
thank you guys for your time. I appreciate
Can
you
you
guys. Thank
can
you.
you just for this document though, when you say plus 150 for next camera, must include editing for 525 or whatever in parentheses or something like that?
You got it. I'll clean this up before I send it to you. But yes, I'll add it there. Cool.
Thanks, John. Any other question, guys? All right. Thanks a lot, John.
All right. Thank you guys. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Enjoy the
Bye.
rest of your evening.
Jeremy, the agenda?
Yeah, go back to it. I did send, and I did update it or try to, but whatever, it didn't. All right,
Oh,
so can you see
Jeremy,
it?
we need a motion first before we go any further.
What's that?
Maybe we should wait till after we hear from the gallery.
Yeah, so
We'll hear from the gallery, then we'll make our recommendation.
yeah.
All
All right,
right.
so
Let's do that.
can you see the agenda?
I can.
Is it large enough? You want me to make it larger?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. So number 3, possible removal of members from Community Board 11.
All right, Jeremy, you sent letters out to everyone. I think we have two people, or we had two people on the line that we're going to discuss. I see one person's here tonight that we'll talk to in a second. But you want to mention about the people that resigned, Jeremy?
Yeah, so we had two resignations. So as I said here, within 24 hours of being notified that they were going to be called before the executive board, they did the right thing and resigned. Not everyone needs to resign. That gets these notices, right? Sometimes it's just reminding people of their responsibilities. And then there's an error with 3B. The certified mail is not required for the person it says it is, because we touch base with all three people that are here on the agenda tonight. And so I don't know if you want to start there with B. I think Ornella was in. Al, it's up to you.
Jeremy, would you please read out first the bylaws so that everybody's aware of what what are in the bylaws?
Yep, hold on. I'm sorry. Jumping back and forth between things. Just go to the community board website. If you can see this, you can see me moving through the website, right? Go to about, governance, bylaws. Okay, so here's the beginning of the community board 11 bylaws, last updated September, or voted on, amended in September. Let me just search removal. Okay, here we go. So section 4, forget exactly what article this is, but this is on page 2. An appointed member may be removed from Committee 11 for cause by a majority of appointed members of the board. Cause may include, is not limited to absences between September 1st and June 30th of each fiscal year. Specifically for 3 non-excused consecutive absences or 5 total absences from full board meetings. And when it comes to committees, it's 3 non-excused consecutive absences or 5 total non-excused absences from committee meetings. So, and then, we consulted the leadership committee last month, and this is just procedural stuff down here below. The gist of what we're meeting about tonight is right here, section 4A, 1 and 2.
All right, thank you, Jeremy. And we have 2 people that we're considering for removal.
Yeah, so Valerie Babb and Ornella Bashiri for the full board. We can get to the committee afterwards. So I know they both said they would be here. And do you want me to just go over absences real quick?
Yes, please.
So let me pull up another. Stop. Stop sharing. I can't do what I need to do with this screen when I'm sharing. Sorry, I was on mute. Can everybody see the Excel sheet I brought up?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think Valerie's in. Is Valerie in? No, but you can see she's missed 1, 2, 3, 4 A's for absent without excusal. So that's 5 meetings total and 3 in a row. So you can be removed for 3 in a row or 5 total. So, she didn't provide any written response. She said she planned on being here tonight, but she would like to stay on the board. I think that's what she said via email.
All right, do we have any members of the board have any questions or concerns?
We had a question for her, but she's not here.
Yeah,
Well,
my
the
only
final,
concern is
the final decision is going to be with the full board, and the person at that time could state their case before the full board. All we can do is recommend a removal, and then it's up to the board to make the final decision. We've done that in the past, and the person gave a good, that evening, the person gave good excuses for not being there, and the board voted to, keep them on the board. So,
right.
basically, all our job here tonight is to either recommend or not recommend the removal of a person for cause.
Right. I remember we
Is
did
there
that
a
before.
requirement for them? Is there a requirement for them to be in today's meeting or no?
No, there's not.
No. Because tonight's meeting won't mean anything, basically, because it's going to have to be before the full board's going to have to make that determination. So they would have to make their argument before the full board.
I mean,
Right.
it's not required, yeah, but you would think it would be, you'd want to attend if you're able to attend. I know one other person we'll discuss tonight said they could not attend tonight, but they did provide.
I'm just thinking it would be nice to have that discussion in a smaller setting. And maybe we can get the answers that we need, so that way we recommend. Can we recommend that they don't get removed? Can we make both recommendations, or we only have one way, just to recommend removal?
Yeah, no, we can do either one. We do whatever we like.
So that's the thing I'm thinking. If you I don't know, like Jeremy said, if you really want to stay on the board, convince a smaller group than trying to convince 50 people.
Yeah, I mean, if nobody's comfortable making a decision tonight, you could leave it up to. I think I gotta check the bylaws, but I think you could leave it up to the full board. And just
Check the
put it on
bylaws.
the
I kind
agenda.
of agree with Yahe with this one, because it kind of makes sense for them to talk and have a discussion with the ones who are voting on this issue, and hear what he or she has to say. So we can make a recommendation. I don't know if everyone or Valerie knew she had to be here today, or she would be at the full board meeting. So
She said she'd be here, and I forwarded it to you.
okay. So I don't know.
Let me just share the bylaws so everybody's
Sure.
clear. So the community board shall receive the report of the executive board. So basically, during the next full board meeting, Al gives a report on what took place tonight. And then, it's whether you vote tonight or not doesn't necessarily matter. The motion to remove ultimately comes from the full board.
Yeah, what's that first one say? The very first, number one, after
After
consultation.
consultation and input from the leadership committee.
Is that us?
No, that was the leadership committee. That was last month.
Oh, did that happen
Put
already?
them on notice that we're going to be reviewing attendance.
We discussed that last time at the leadership meeting.
With the person, or just
No, just
No.
members of the leadership committee.
Just to put them on notice that we're going to meet regarding attendance, and that anybody who qualified for removal will be notified.
One of the things we have to take into consideration is we put that into the bylaws for one reason. Every time we have a meeting, we get people say people are not showing up for their committee meetings, or we're having a hard time getting a quorum.
Right.
It's either a law or it's not a law. I mean, we can do whatever we like, but I would like to hear from the people, because possibly there's a good reason. But there's also, it's fairly easy to make a phone call to Jeremy or to someone in the office, letting them know you're not going to be able to make the meeting for whatever reason. And these are unexcused absences, which means the office was never called.
Right.
So
okay.
But
Yeah,
I,
just in this instance of Valerie, we're talking currently,
Right. Understood.
because there are definitely some excusals for some other people.
Yeah.
And I think we're running out of time, by the way. We have 19 minutes before we move on to the next meeting.
I would like to hear from Ornelia.
Well, so just to be clear, for Valerie, no decision, leave it up to the full board?
Are you saying a motion for that right now?
Well, I'd like to hear from Ornelia, or we can make a motion for two, or not, or hold off on either one, both.
Right.
Let's hear from Ornelia and see if she's here. It would be a
Yes.
shame not to have her, speak.
Or wait to the full board, right?
Yeah, but it's, again, she's here. Let's give her the courtesy of hearing her.
Okay.
Ornelia?
Hi,
So do you
everyone.
want me to, Ornelia, Al, do you want me to pull up the spreadsheet again, just so we can see exactly what we're talking about with Ornelia?
That would be fun.
So you can see here, Ornelia excused. I mean, she notified us, absent, excused, absent. So 3 excusals, 2 absences. Go ahead, Ornelia.
Good evening, everyone. It sucks I'm here actually right now dealing with this. I hope it was different, but I really want to be on the board. In terms of my absences, on September 30th, I was in Albania stuck with COVID, so that's why I couldn't attend. In November, I actually had a surgery November 10th for my Achilles. Not sure why I didn't get in touch with you or Jeremy then. So I was recovering. January and March, I sent an email. I actually had to go back home again to Albania for family matters.
Oh, hold on, Ornelia. Because you're discussing personal matters, if we want to continue with the reasons, I think we should probably go into executive session, because I don't.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm not going into matters or anything. I'm just saying that I had.
No,
to
just for your own privacy. Just I'm saying, if you're
No,
already
that's fine.
discussing,
I'm okay with
As
sharing
long
it.
as she mentioned his personal reasons, we understand. She doesn't have to
Yeah.
go into detail.
yeah, I'm just letting her know she doesn't have to spill her guts.
That's okay. I don't mind sharing. And as of April 28th, I have no excuse. I literally was going to attend that day, but we ended up staying in the office until 10 o'clock working on the community event. I'm sure you guys heard about it in Arthur Avenue, as it was only 3 people organizing for a month and a half. We've been going 10 a.m. till pretty 10 p.m. at night every day, even 7 days a week. So that has been my story regarding these. I would love to continue staying on the board, of course, and promise to, be present. And I'm very, involved with community in general. Even if I'm not with the board, I'm going to continue being involved with the community work. I just wanted to explain to you guys what my excuses were, although they're still excuses at the end of the day, because I do have a responsibility when I took this position.
Thanks, Ornelia.
Thank you, Ornelia.
I think you made a good case for yourself. Thank you.
Absolutely. I agree, Al.
And you shut up.
All right. Any other questions?
No, I mean, I just, I think her reasons to me, on my end only, but maybe to everyone else, hopefully, are very, very valid. Those are very excellent reasons why. That's all.
Absolutely. I'm going to ask the board, do you want to hold off on, Anita has a perfect reason to be excused
Yeah.
for her absences. You're talking about illnesses, family situations, not in the country. So
Right.
those things are absolutely extenuating circumstances. So
Right.
I see no problem with that. Valerie, I would like to hear from her, because possibly she has something equally important to share. So what I will
Right.
do is put that off until the full board meeting. And Valerie, we will not recommend Ornelia, but Valerie, we will, because we
Right.
haven't heard from her. So she will have to make her case before the full board. Fair
I
enough?
second that.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor?
All right.
Anybody opposed? Okay, so that's what we'll do. We'll put forward, Valerie has to address the full board. Ornelia got a stay of execution. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I promise I will make my
Take care.
120% there.
And, you know, life
got
happens sometimes. I mean, you have to deal with it. That's all we can do.
Thank
Thank you so much. Gallery session?
Well, hold on. So we got one more committee member up. Tafadar. He could not come tonight. He sent in his note in regard to his absences. I don't know if everybody got a chance to read that. I did believe I did send it out to everybody.
Yes, I saw it. Yes. Well, again, he's not here, so he'll have to go before the full board also.
Agreed.
So you just
Yeah.
let them know that, Jeremy, let them know that they have to make their case before the full board on our next full board meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
So is that a vote, or do we want to wait till the gallery speaks and then vote?
Yeah, let's let the gallery speak first.
Okay, and then just also let's clarify, I do have two more committee members currently that I can see that could come up for same thing that Tafadar here is. So June 16th, maybe we can have the next meeting. That's when you normally would have it for that. I'll send out the notices ASAP.
Okay.
Okay. I'll stop sharing the screen.
Who do we have in the gallery? That signed up?
I see Diana Finch and Robert Press was first, I believe. And I forgot to put it on the agenda again, but it's 2 minutes. We've
Hi, Rob.
limited.
Okay, first of all, in
Ready, Oral?
checking community board
Yes,
12.
I am ready. Hold on, Robert. I'm gonna let you start. Thank you, Robert. Okay, go ahead, Robert. You got
In
it.
checking community board 12, their full board meeting on January 27th and their full board meeting on February 24th was taped by BronxNet. So I think you should look into BronxNet taping your meetings instead of spending all this money. Number one. Number two, I think that board members, I mean, your bylaws state that only one committee meeting and the full board meeting is needed by board members. Whereas in the application, it says you may need to spend up to 20 hours a month on the community board. Okay. I know in my old board, we had two committees we had to be on. And as a committee chair, you were on the executive committee. We only had an executive committee. We didn't have two different leadership and executive board. Okay. But I think if a person applies for the board, they should be on at least two committees. And I think you should be thinking of that for next year, that you up it from one committee to two committees and make sure that people know it when they, apply for the board or when they get on the board. And I'm sure that the borough president's office will tell you that there are different, regulations for different boards, and hopefully they'll have it all together where, you won't have one board saying one and one others. But I myself wound up on 6 to 8 committees each different year I was on the board, my board. So if you're interested in being on the board, you should not be absent or away from meetings. You should be at more meetings. And you've seen how many meetings I've been at. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Robert. That's a lot.
Robert, the only thing is that the word is may, so they may have more than number. And thank you about the BronxNet thing. We'll look into that. That sounds interesting.
So yeah, no, that they pay $1,700 a month, regardless. It's so the guys.
No need to look into that.
Yeah, the company that they're using, they used to work for BronxNet. And yeah, I mean, Bob is right though that we should be getting it for free because there's a licensing agreement with BronxNet. So Bob is right in that regard. We should be, and we've pushed the borough president's office on this, my colleagues and I. So we're just kind of waiting to see if anything happens.
That would be great, Jeremy. If it's free, that's wonderful.
Yeah, well, don't hold your breath.
Okay, I won't.
Diana, do you have something that you wish to speak?
Yes, with respect to Valerie Babb, she is a member of the Bronx Park East Community Association and lives in our neighborhood. And she may have very valid personal reasons, especially during the past couple of years for not being able to attend meetings, but we don't have that much representation on the community board from this part of the district. And it's disappointing to us that she's missed so many meetings. So we just would like you to take that into consideration. Representation matters.
Right, Diana, thank you.
Okay,
And
that's it?
And do us a favor that in the night of the full board meeting, be there so you can voice your opinion.
And maybe you could
Well-
talk to her, make sure she shows up. too.
Yeah, I mean, I feel a little hesitant saying this in front of the full board, but maybe
No
I
worries.
will.
No worries.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
No worries.
And I think we have one more member of the public.
Okay, remember, 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Roxanne,
Who's
I think
next, Jeremy?
it is. Maybe 646 number, or is that Ornella?
Hello. Hello.
Hello, are you here?
Yes, I just want to confirm if you could hear me first before I start. That's all.
Yep, we can hear
All right. Can
Roxanne.
you give me a 30-second warning, please?
I will. No worries.
Thank you. All right. This
Okay.
is Roxanne Delgado. I'm really concerned because I recall a few months ago at the leadership meeting where I expressed my dissatisfaction with the videos, the school board meetings being put on Facebook Live. The response was, well, we have no choice because audit states that we have to live stream these meetings. Now I hear the chair saying, oh, it's not live stream, is not necessary. So this the inconsistency with the board says and does is really kind of confusing. And I will advise the board to be a little more consistent with their statements and not continue making statements to fit their agenda. So again, I recall you said a few months ago that the live stream meetings were necessary per audit, and that's why they were put on Facebook Live. And now you're saying live stream is no longer necessary. Second issue regarding board member removals. Regardless of if the chair thinks those excuses are perfect, the fact is that if the board member cannot attend meetings, regardless of how justified they are, then perhaps they should not be on the board. And when they're able to attend meetings, then they could reapply to the board, because it's unfair to have just a little number of people making decisions, because most board members are not in attendance in both full board meetings and committee meetings. So regardless of how perfect you think these excuses are, I don't think they're justified no matter what. And lastly, I'm very concerned that the chair hand-selected the nominee committee, and they nominated him to be on the executive board again since 2013. I think we need a change because this board, in my opinion, is dysfunctional. We need a change. There's plenty of
30
people on the
seconds.
board that have been there for over 2 years. Give them a chance to lead. I mean, don't be a hoarder. We need change. You serve on the executive board for over 10 years now. Give someone else a chance, please. Thank you so much.
Roxanne, first of all, the live streaming, I'd love to have live streaming, but if we don't have the money, we can't afford to pay for it. That's number one. Number two, sometimes there are extenuating circumstances why people can't attend meetings. If there's something in a sickness in the family, or if they're ill, or they have family concerns in other countries, sometimes you just have to take those things into consideration. And being a human board, we have to do that. And the third point you made, anybody can run for the position. If people feel that I shouldn't belong in that position, I have no problem. My feelings won't get hurt. They want to put somebody younger on there with experience, that's fine with me. I have no problem with that. That's why we have majority rule, and that's why we have a vote. Thank you.
Yeah, you were the only one nominated. By the way, I don't care for the guys laughing at what happened
Roxanne,
in Buffalo.
that's not
The
my-
racism
That's
actually
That's not
exists,
my
and
problem.
we should be laughing at it. By the way, I find that kind of appalling, in my opinion, as a person of color.
All right.
Stop with the color thing. But you're Roxanne, I'm tired of that. It's on its way out.
It's not funny having.
Okay, so yeah, let's all right. So Al, you made your point.
By the way.
Okay, excuse me, you made your point. Al made his point. Let's stop with the back and forth.
Well, I
So-
have to bring the race card because until you stop being a bigot,
No,
then I
no,
won't
no,
need
no,
to bring
no,
up the
you
race
didn't.
card.
No, you do not. So
I
Yes, I
resent
do.
that. I resent that, Roxanne. You better watch your mouth, the way you talk it.
Okay,
Al,
so-
we all gotta, Al,
So, yeah,
Roxanne,
Al,
please.
let's take it down a
You
notch.
don't need to watch yourself.
Jer-
Taking laughing
okay,
at that. What happened in Buffalo
Jeremy.
was not funny.
All right, I'm gonna stop
You got-
everybody but from oral. I stopped everybody from unmuting themselves. I'll ask you to unmute if you want. You can unmute if you want, Oral. Everybody else cannot unmute. Oral, can you hear me?
Okay, thank you. That's what I was trying to get you to do. To just mute everyone.
Yeah, I did. Just so you're clear, Oral, I did
Yeah.
mute everyone, but somebody kept unmuting themselves more than once.
Wow. Okay. Got you.
So
We have to keep, everyone, I'm Sergeant of Arms, and I know everyone has feelings and opinions. So do I, but this is a meeting in front of the public. We really try to keep this at a level where we're discussing issues and not trying to do anyone doing personal attacks on one another. That's not fair. I don't think it's fair. You could bring up a discussion, but using personal attacks on someone is not fair. So anyway, I just hope we can all just continue making discussions and try to serve the public as we want to do, as we are trying to do, and not go to this level of talking right now when we're here discussing issues that are concerning. All right, and some of the issues that were brought up about someone not being on the board, those are things that what you may feel that way, but if we feel that it's those are really good excuses why someone cannot be there. I believe in second chances, giving someone an opportunity. If it keeps happening, like Roxanne, we'll do it. We'll remove somebody. But if this is their first time and they get a good, clear warning, and these are circumstances that they could not avoid, as a community that's looking out for people on the board, we should give them a second chance. I believe that, and I know I want to give Ornella a second chance. That's all. But go ahead, Jeremy. I don't want to keep this going.
So it's almost 7 o'clock and we have the leadership meeting to start. So that would conclude the gallery. Let me unmute you. You should be able to unmute yourself, Al. I don't know if you want to vote on the minutes now, vote on the removals or non-removals, whatever.
I'd like to make a motion that Ms. Bashiri is taken off the endangered species list. We will not bring her name up to the full board. We will bring the names of the other two people to the full board. So my proposal is that we make a motion that we forward the names of the two people to the board for consideration of removal.
I second that.
Anybody opposed? Okay, all right. So we'll bring those two names before the board for possible removal, and they'll be able to make their case in front of the board. Thank you.
So just for the record, that means no abstentions either, right? Yeah, nobody abstained. Right.
Well, is everybody unmuted that can say something? Or
Oh yes, I'm sorry. That's a really good point.
Good idea. Good idea.
No. It's just Veronica's into. I'm going to unmute everybody as long as everybody can respect that. Now it's the time for the board to speak. All right. I'm going to allow everybody to unmute themselves. So Veronica and Yaya are here. So I muted everybody. Go ahead, Yaya.
No, I'm saying, Al, you may have to go over it again so people can now.
No, I think we're good. We're good, Oral.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, Veronica's here. I don't know if Veronica had or needed want to say anything.
No, I agree with it. I'm fine with it.
All right. So Valerie Babb and Tafadar will be put on the agenda for next week. Okay. And then minutes, Al. January 2021 minutes. No objections or abstentions or corrections.
Motion to accept the minutes from January 2021.
Second it.
Anybody opposed? Any discussion? Motion carries. All right, motion to adjourn so we can get on to our next meeting.
Second.
Seconded.
Yeah, I second.
All right,
No abstentions or against. 7:01, the meeting ends.
terrific. Thanks, everybody. See you at the next one.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Take care, guys.